Hello, everyone. It is me. It is I, Ledger Forever. And today I will be doing a tier list for every single MCU movie. And I'm really excited because I've never actually gotten through all the MCU movies, but I now have. So I am so happy to do this. I did say, I think, in my Pixar one that I recorded both of these earlier before Saturday. That was kind of a lie. I did for Pixar. I had some stuff I need to get done, so this one is being recorded on Saturday, but it's being recorded about a few hours before it's gonna come out. So we're gonna be doing a MCU tier list. These are in no order, and I'm not gonna be putting like the cover for all of them because that's just too exhausting for me. First up, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp. The tiers we have here are fantastic, great, good, okay, meh, and bad. I will go good with Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's a really, really good film. I think it's definitely an underrated movie. It's not trying to be fantastic, but it's trying to be good enough. And I know that there are some people who do like to say that the final fight scene is a bit anticlimactic. I've never found it to have that problem. I find it to be a fun movie that I get. It was actually received way more well than Infinity War when it first came out. I think people just weren't ready for Infinity War for people to kill off all the Avengers, and that's why it's a lot of MCU movies are higher rated on Rotten Tomatoes. But this is a really, really solid follow up to Ant Man. I think there's only one great movie in the Ant Man franchise, but I will say this is a definitely a solid watch. So I have a lot of fun with this one. Now we have the OG Ant-Man. We're going to put this one in great. I think this is a great movie. I think it's a one that is a good origin story for Ant-Man, but it's also really funny. Scott Lang is so likable, and you want to know the reason why it's in great? Louise. He is hilarious in both Ant-Man and Ant-Man the Wasp. One of my gripes with Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania was that Louise was not in it. I cannot believe you missed out on that big of an opportunity. They are such idiots for not putting him in. He would have that was one of the reasons I think why people actually went to see Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania, because they wanted to see Louise. No wonder it bombed. People were like, "No, he's not in it." But oh, that'd be so funny if that was actually true. It's a great movie in my opinion. I could be wrong and biased. I'm gonna be switching some of these up in the video if I feel like it. If I'm like, actually no, that one is in blank. So now we have Avengers Infinity War. Okay, you guys can't see my face, but I just made like the like obvious type look, like of the like. Are you kidding me? We all knew where this was going as soon as we clicked on this video. This is going in fantastic. One of the greatest superhero movies of all time, an all timer, and quite possibly one of the greatest movies of all time. It's a movie that is great at just the action. The action is shot really well. I think Thanos is a really commanding villain. There was a time in my life when I was like, is Avengers Infinity War and Endgame and just the MCU as a whole that good? Because I was discovering all these like classics, and I was like, yeah, it's that good. It's awesome. So it's a great movie. I think that all the Avengers have their moment to shine in this one. There's some really funny banter between people like Doctor Strange and Tony and Star-Lord and Thor, and just everyone has their own like little banter with each other, and you actually get to see them like having like getting at each other's throats at times. So it's really funny. If I have to cut up some of these things at times, because this will probably be a long video, I would guess around like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours if this does not go fast, because I'm a ranter, as we all know, which you guys are the ones who signed up for this by clicking on this video. You should know. You're going to be probably in for a rant or two. Now we have Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame is also going in fantastic. A fantastic movie. I think I would go behind Infinity War simply because I think that this one is, even though it is the conclusion, I think that the time travel angle is a bit confusing at times, but I think that this movie is fantastic. I think it has great action. I think that everything is paid off well. Just a great movie, and I can tell you this was my favorite movie of all time when I first saw it. I was hoping, and I actually had a theory that Cap was gonna actually get the hammer after what you see in Age of Ultron, he was also gonna say Avengers Assemble in the film. I was not disappointed. He does both, and Captain America is my favorite Avenger, and and I've always wanted to see him actually just like lead the Avengers, and getting to see him leading that many people and going like, Avengers assemble. I flipped out. I loved it. I There's no words. I loved it. I cannot believe they actually got away with putting that in there. So I am so happy we got that. And boy, was it so satisfying. It's a 3 hour long movie, and it's kind of like Back to the Future for me. Infinity War may be the better film. Endgame is probably more rewatchable. So I do have so much fun with Endgame. Now we have the OG Avengers. I'm also okay. I'll put this one in great. I'm reserving Fantastic for like the top 5. Okay, great. There. Actually, no, I'll reserve it for like some of the greatest in this thing. It is one of the greatest. It's top 10 for me, but not top 5. I just love the Avengers. I think it's a great movie that I'll put it above Ant-Man. So I think that all the Avengers in this one also have their moment to shine, except for Hawkeye, he never really gets too much attention in this one until like his own show, and he gets part of it in well, when I first saw this movie through a Lego game where it basically just reenacts the Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron called Lego Marvel Avengers. I noticed that Hawkeye had a lot to do with Age of Ultron, and how he had quite a bit to do with it than he did in the previous one. And I was like, yes, he is so underrated. He's one of my favorite Avengers. He should be in the spotlight. And so I was not disappointed when we get to see him actually get Scarlet Witch. So I think that this is a satisfying movie. I think it's great at what it does. I think Loki is funny, yet being also terrifying at the same time. So this is a really funny movie, and I have quite a bit of fun with this one. And now we have Black Panther. I'll go good, but I'm going to put it behind Ant-Man and the Wasp. This is, I believe, the most overrated movie in the MCU, probably, yeah. Because this one is just so unbelievably overrated. I don't like the way that people say that this is like the greatest comic movie of all time. It's only because it has a wider appeal, probably. I think by Rotten Tomatoes, it's the highest of any of the movies in the MCU. It's the highest rated by Rotten Tomatoes. No, it's not that good at all. It is not even close. I think that pretty much all the Avengers movies are better. Most things in the MCU are better than Black Panther. It's not top tier MCU by a long shot. It's overrated. I think that the villain is really good, but I think that it's a bit boring at times. I think it's kind of starting to lose steam in some moments. So I have a lot of fun watching this one at times, but it's just one that I cannot get over the fact it is overrated. Now we have Black Widow. I think they're for the film reveal alone. That's bad. So I think I'll put it in bad. I didn't like Black Widow. I was very disappointed by it, and I think it was just because I walked into it thinking that Hawkeye was going to be in it, and that this was going to be like a prequel to seeing like how Nat and Barton always talked about their time in Budapest and how like they met. So I was hoping that was what we were going to be getting, like a prequel showing what they had in Budapest. That was what I was going in for, and it was a enormous misfire and complete disappointment. It is a movie that I really was so disappointed by. The villain, our first villain, the human guy, is a bad villain, and our reveal for Taskmaster is horrendous. I know Taskmaster, he's a very dangerous opponent to have, and the way they treat him in this is horrendous. His villain reveal is horrible. They don't do anything good with the premise of Taskmaster, so I didn't like it, so I'm gonna have to put it in bad. Now we have Captain Marvel. I think I'll go meh with Captain Marvel. If I didn't have some entertainment value with if Goose was not in it and Nick Fury was not in it, and the de-aging was really good on Nick Fury, making him look like how he does in Die Hard with a Vengeance. If that stuff was not there, this would be in bad, because I can't stand Captain Marvel. She's the top 5 least favorite movie character for me. Hosta actually told me that I could actually get canceled for having it, for having put all my from putting my top 5 least favorite movie characters of all time, and they were coincidentally all girls. Asta, thank you for trying to look out for me. I'm just gonna say this. I have to admit, I'm not gonna. I don't think I should be able to be taken off of YouTube because I put on a top 5 least favorite movie characters when girls have a lot more misfires when it comes to character because they whine a lot more than boys at times. So they can be very whiny, especially Willie, as you guys will know if you've seen that. But I think that she's unlikable throughout the course of the film. She doesn't know who she is, so it's making us ask questions that we don't need. And I still don't even know, is this supposed to be a part of Phase 1 or Phase 3, because it was made during Phase 3 and it says on Disney Plus it's Phase 3. But it takes place before all the MCU movies except for Captain America the First Avenger. So technically it's Phase 1. So is it Phase 1 or Phase 3? What? And am I supposed to watch it 2 times? Because I don't want to have to do that because it's bottom tier MCU. Why am I supposed to watch bottom tier MCU twice if I'm only going to watch the top tier MCU once in a marathon? Why? This is so confusing. But anyway, on to a happier note, by a long shot, we have Captain America Civil War. I'm going to go in fantastic with this one. I will go behind Infinity War and Endgame. And Film Kid, I'm sorry. I'm not allowing you to put this one any lower than this without having seen it and getting me to do it, because I after you tell me to, I try and see the problems that you have with it. I just can't. It's not overrated at all. If you think this is overrated, have you guys heard my rants on the Spider-Verse movies? Boy, I have a lot of fun picking on those ones, but this is a fantastic movie where it deals with conflict better than any movie in the MCU. Any movie. And I think that the characters all have great arcs in this. Like, Tony has a good arc in this, and Cap, and just the way that that final fight where Cap, Steve, and Bucky are fighting. It's heartbreaking, yet you think it's a really cool fight. But it is heartbreaking. So I just can't believe that they managed to create such a fantastic movie. So I'm happy putting in fantastic. Now we have Captain America, the First of... Okay, sorry about that little cut there. I needed to take a bit of a break. We're now at Captain America, the First Avenger. We're going great with this one, and I will go over Ant-Man. I really, really love this movie. I think this is a top 10... Actually, no, it's right outside the top 10 for me, but... Boy, this is a great origin story for Cap. Cap's my favorite Avenger. He's just the most likable. He's so nice and innocent. All he wants to do is help people out. He just wants to serve his country. And I'm not a fan when they start montaging through World War II, but I think it's an interesting story. I think that the chemistry between Haley Atwell and Chris Evans really shows. I think that this is a great origin story for a great superhero. It is a great movie. I think that it deserves a lot of love. So that there is no surprise that this isn't great. Well, at least not for me. Now we have Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I'll go fantastic with this one. I will go behind Civil War, though. I'm sorry, Film Kid. I'm sorry, Hosta. But, Hosta, you and I are going to have another debate and fight in the comments soon. We all know what's going to ensue sooner or later. Ooh, we really need to have a discussion about that when we go live, although I don't know how we could do that because you don't use your voice in that. But having a discussion about Wakanda Forever live would be really fun. But Captain America, the Winter Soldier, top tier MCU. You're not convincing me otherwise. It's a film that has great moments. It's like a political thriller instead of a superhero movie. The action's fantastic. It's shot so well. The villain's pretty decent, actually, for what they could have done. I think the Winter Soldier's a great villain as well. I think that Bucky's super cool in this, and just that final fight. This was at one point, I think at a point my least favorite Captain America movie by far. I did not like it. It was just because I saw that scene where the guy shoots the person, and I mean I liked it, but it's that scene where he shoots that woman with a gun. It scared me to death. I was like, ah, 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 ah. Now watching things like John Wick and Rambo, that's drastically not even as close to what happens in that. But I have a ton of fun with Captain America, the Winter Soldier, so I'm happy putting it in great. Now we have Doctor Strange. I'll go okay. It's good, I guess. It's fine. It's not top tier MCU by any means. It's a film that I think that Stephen Strange is too unlikable in the beginning, and I don't really enjoy him as a character, especially in the second one. I think that I think that this movie, this has, it's probably one of the best looking of the MCU, and it's kind of like Inception in ways of in terms of camera work. I have not seen Inception yet. I know what it looks like though. I will get on to Inception as soon as I can. So everyone, you can put down your pitchforks. You're not stabbing me with those things today. You can stab me with them as soon as I say that Inception sucks, which I probably won't be. So you're not going to be getting me. So I think that Doctor Strange is a really decent movie. So actually, I mean, I'm not going to go really decent. I'll say it's decent. It's okay. I think that he's a bit unlikable at times. So I have fun with it, but it's not top tier by any means. Now we have Eternals, the definition of bottom tier MCU. I will go at the top of bad for this one. I'm just making these things up as I go along in terms of where. So I'm in top of bad. The closer you are to the top of bad means that you're the worst. This is my least favorite MCU movie, by far. I think that it is just so unbelievably long. The thing is nearly 3 hours long. Whereas I watched Avengers Endgame every single day for like a month because I loved it so much, and I never got tired of it. I could not stand this movie. It's so long. And that Avengers Endgame is longer than this, and it flies by. This thing drags so much. I can admit there was a twist that I did not see coming, but I still didn't really care for it. It still was not very impressive. It shouldn't have been. It should not have been that twist. It was dumb. I don't think that the characters were very memorable. There were very few characters I actually enjoyed, and the one character I did enjoy turned out to be evil. Well, at least became the bad guy and then disappears into like the sun or something. So the one character I actually liked then, no wait, I actually did like Kingo. But other than that, Icarus and Kingo are like the only two characters I actually enjoyed. So this was a pretty bad movie for me. I did not like it, so I'm really happy putting it in bad. Now we have the complete polar opposite with Guardians of the Galaxy. We will put this at the actually, no. Why would I do that? I'm going to put this... Oh, you got me in a pickle. I think I'll go right here. Yeah, in Fantastic. I would take it over The Winter Soldier. I think it's just so good at... James Gunn's good at taking these like broken characters and these very nobodies, like D-list Marvel heroes at best, and turning them into like the most lovable people inside the MCU. They're just so fantastic. I think that they all have their moments to shine. I think the comedy in this is hilarious. This is probably the least funny of all of them because 2 and 3 both had some pretty funny moments. Actually, no, I think 2 probably is the least funny. It's between 2 and 1. It's just like 2 has more jokes put into it, just some of them don't land. So I think that this one is funny. There's a really funny scene involving Star-Lord doing something that Rocket tricks him into doing, and he's like, and when he actually does it, and Rocket was like, wait, and then you seriously did it? That was a joke. It was hilarious to watch that. And I'm one of the people I actually got to see Guardians 3 in theaters, so we will get to that soon, but I have a lot of nostalgia for Guardian. Actually, no, I don't. I don't have any nostalgia. I only watched Guardians 1 and 2 preparing for 3 because I had never seen them because I don't think I was old enough for them when they first came out. I have no idea why. 2, I probably wouldn't be old enough for. I was old enough for 1, for sure. Now we have Iron Man 3. I'll go good. I'll go at the back of good, though. Yeah, that makes sense. I think Iron Man 3's, I think it's not, if we were comparing this to most of the other movies in the MCU, it's probably closer to bottom tier. It's more in the middle for me, but doesn't mean I particularly enjoy it. So I think that this movie has like the Mandarin plot point, which most people harp on. I'm harping on it too. It's unbelievably stupid. One of the worst plot twists I can think of a movie in a long time. So unbelievably stupid. They had no right to do that. And it was an idiotic decision to do that. And they took a villain that people loved because the Mandarin's a really good villain, and they do one of the worst jobs with setting it up and paying it off. It was not paid off at all. Yeesh. And so I have fun with this one. It's I think that it works probably better as a Shane Black action movie than it does as a actual just Iron Man movie. I've only seen 2 of... This is definitely my favorite Shane Black movie, though, but to be fair, I've only seen it... That I know of, I think I've only seen 2. The Predator and Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 being far superior to The Predator, which we all should know. And if we were going against the worst movie in the MCU, Eternals versus the Predator, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say the Predator's better. That is how much I dislike Eternals. Just so bad. Now we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I'll go meh. I'm gonna go. I think I would take actually Captain Marvel over it. Oh man. Oh boy. I'm just gonna get one thing out of the way. Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, de-aging, and Goose. Those are all the words I need to say why Captain Marvel is better than Shang-Chi. They brought back Mandarin in Shang-Chi. I didn't like him in Iron Man 3. I didn't like him in this. It feels like it's most of the jokes in this movie that I see don't land. Plus, it may be one of the best in Phase 4. You got to be kidding me, man. Phase 4 was a horrible phase for Marvel in terms of movies. They only had, I think, like one good movie in Phase 4. I did not like any of the rest. I would say this one's meh. I gave it, I think it's a 3-star maybe. It's a film that I did not like Phase 4. So anything that's in Phase 4 except for one movie is not going to be getting a very nice treatment from me. So I am sorry. I get there's a bit more of an appeal to this one, and that it has really good action scenes. I don't care. I just think it's boring. I just don't care about this one. I'm sorry. Now we have Spider-Man Far From Home. I'll go good. I think I will go over Iron Man 3. It depends on my mood. I think when I did the 29 out of 29 for the genre challengers, these two were close together. That like within a ranking of each other. They're probably the most interchangeable in the group of the entire ranking for that. But I think Far From Home, the reason I won't put it in gray is because if they had if they had given us a better twist, and set it up a bit better, and if they had come up with a better plot line, it could have been great. But as for the fact is, it has one of the most ludicrous and stupid plot points in a blockbuster superhero movie I have ever seen. The amount of stupidity in that plot is horrendous. The fact that Tony Stark would leave his multi-million, possibly multi-billion-dollar glasses to a high schooler who had been dead for 5 years without any supervision, without any training, is a horrendous plot to use. They had no need to use that one, and a lot of the humor does not land, especially when there's a joke that where a grown woman tells an underage Peter to take off his clothes. What? What? Imagine if that was Nick Fury and MJ. Would you have felt the same way? No. You don't harp on that a lot, guys, but if this was MJ and Samuel L. Jackson, I guarantee you if this was MJ and Nick Fury, I guarantee you would have had a problem with it. I guarantee you. Now we have Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm going great with this one. I think I will go over the first Avenger, but I think I'll go behind the Avengers. I think that this is a great film. Costa Kababi, I'm ready for you. I'm putting it in great, and I can't believe that no one else gives this enough love. It's an underrated movie in the MCU. I think that the twist with Vulture is a fantastic twist. He is a top 3 MCU villain in my opinion. It's also because he's not trying to blow up the city. He just felt like he was wronged by Tony Stark. So he just wants to get revenge. So it's a really compelling story for that. I think it's really decent. And I have a lot of fun with this one. I think the humor mostly lands. It feels more like a high school movie than it does a superhero movie. But I think that it's pretty entertaining. And I think that Peter has a nice little arc throughout the film. And I'm a fan of character arcs, so I really enjoyed this. So if you don't like it, too bad. I'm putting it there. Now we have Thor: The Dark World. Okay. Film Kid, I'm sorry. I'm putting this in meh. Not bad. But I'm going to go with the back of meh. Sorry, Film Kid, you're not getting me in bad today. But I guarantee you there's going to be at least one movie that you probably... I'm going to get a lot of people, the genre challengers, angry. Mostly because... I think it's mostly Hosta I'm angering right now. But... Nope. We're going to anger Film Kid soon. But anyway... I think that Thor: The Dark World is one of those mediocre type movies. I don't think it's bad, but it's definitely mediocre. It feels bland and boring. I think they got the like writer or director from Game of Thrones, and it feels more Game of Thrones ish. I have not seen Game of Thrones, but I know it feels a bit darker. It has more of a darker tone. It has like this like little dark type of screen like thing where everything looks more gray, and I think that the Malekith is a horrendous villain. He is one of the worst in the entire MCU. Definitely, he might actually be the worst villain in the entire MCU. He's up there, but he's not a good villain at all. He's the only reason you remember him is because of how awful and how forgettable he is as a villain. So I'm not a fan of. I mean, actually, I have fun moments with it. I think I did like it a bit the first time I saw it. I definitely found it boring when I first watched it, but I cannot in good right put it over. I can in good right put it over Eternals and Black Widow. So now we have Thor Ragnarok. I told you I was going to anger Film Kid soon. I'm going to put this in great instead of fantastic. So sorry, Film Kid. I know I'm angering you a lot in this video. Don't worry, I'll get Hasta angry eventually. And I think Jay and I are pretty much the same when it comes to these lists. We're pretty much the same with this. It's funny how Jay and I have similar opinions. Depends on what the thing. Hasta and I seem to have the most opinions on this thing, yet I'm probably going to be the one that's angering him the most. So Thor Ragnarok, it's a fun movie where you get a lot more humor in this movie. It's like Taika Waititi takes the over bland and forgettable and dark tone of Thor, the Dark World, and just like completely presses the opposite button and like, nope, we need to inject some humor and color into this thing. So you get this. It's hilarious. I think that once in a while they, when there's supposed to be a serious moment, they crack a joke, which is what keeps it from being a top tier MCU. So they crack a joke too often, so it kind of gets old. Kind of like how Thor: Love and Thunder had that effect immediately. It already started cracking too many jokes. Like within the first 5 minutes, it was already pretty much too many humor jokes. Man, I really need to get this stutter over with. By the way, you guys, hopefully it'll be better in my Q&A, which I will not. The me I am right now will not be doing it yet, but I will be doing it in the future. But wait, if I'm doing it in the future, then I will be doing it in the past because this is coming up in the future. But if I'm going to do it in the past, but then won't that mean I did it already? But no. Oh man, I'm so confusing. Wow, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are laughing right now. I at least hope so because I really just turned my brain trying to think of that and comprehend that. So I have fun with Thor Ragnarok. It's one of those movies that can go up and down or stay still. I think that Hulk was a good addition, so I have a lot of fun with this one. Now we have the OG Thor. We got three Captain America movies in a row and 3 Thor movies in a row. Wow. Man, that's funny. Okay, I think I'll go. Oh, that's ironic. I'll go okay. I'm gonna go above Doctor Strange. What? Okay, there. So I think also because that Doctor Strange is the only one in okay, so he's probably lonely up there. So there. Now he's less lonely, but I think Thor is a fun movie. I think it has some humor, but also a lot of it doesn't land at times. I think Jane Foster, I don't really care about her. I didn't really need her. You don't need her in any of these movies. I didn't like her in. I thought she was not really needed in the original. I didn't think she was needed in the Dark World, and I also didn't like her at all in Love and Thunder simply because it just feels woke that they put her in to try and make her. They're trying to say that she's a better superhero than Thor. It's woke. You know it. You know it deep down. You just don't want to admit it. And Ragnarok, one of the reasons I enjoyed it more than any of the other Thors is because they cut her out of it, which is way better, and also the humor. But I think that this one has it kind of feels, it has like that Shakespearean grandeur type thing to it, and it feels really odd compared to some of the movies in the MCU, one of the more poetic ones because of like the score and all sorts of stuff. They immediately, the ending scene with like Loki dying, they immediately in the extra scene decided to retcon that, like, nope, he survives, which I still don't know how he could have survived that. But hey, I'm an audience member, I'm not supposed to be questioning things, but actually I am. So I do have some fun with Thor, but it's not by any means top tier. Now we have Avengers: Age of Ultron. Come at me, everyone in the comment section. I'm ready for you. I'm putting this one in great. I will put this one above Ant-Man. I think that this is a great movie. I think that the chemistry between the team is mostly what carries this movie to great. I think that the action's really good. I think that Ultron's a pretty good villain. And I think that everything in this movie that they are trying to accomplish, they mostly succeed with. I think that Wanda. Sorry about the other cut there. Hopefully that will be the last one. But again, Avengers Endgame. Avengers Age of Ultron. I'm happy putting in great. But now we have a not great film. We have Iron Man, which is not great. It's fantastic. But I'm going to go ahead of the Winter Soldier. But I think I would take Guardians of the Galaxy, Civil War, Endgame, and Infinity War over it. So I think that Iron Man is the film that, without the weight of the rest of the MCU, it can just tell a compelling origin story. And they give a nice character arc to Tony Stark. Everything is just so well paced, and I think that the villain's pretty good. I think that it has a satisfying final fight. I think that everything is paid off well. It's just a film that is so absolutely great. It's top tier MCU by far. It is a great film. It deserves so much love. I wasn't the biggest fan of it the first time I watched it, but now I love it. It's a great film. Fantastic. One of the greatest superhero films of all time. Now we have The Incredible Hulk. I'll go... no. I think I'll go okay. I'll go at the back of okay, though. I think it's a bit mediocre at points. It's definitely at points boring. It's boring at points, so... I won't say it's a bad movie, but it's not exactly a good movie either, if you know what I mean. Actually, yeah, I'm going to go meh. I'm more mixed on it. I think I'll go behind Shang-Chi. I think I'll take Shang-Chi over it, but it's a good film, I guess. It's decent. I'm more mixed on it though. It has a lot of problems. Like the villain's not very good. Abomination's he's too late in the game. He's not very utilizable. I think Edward Norton's a better Hulk than Mark Ruffalo, simply because he fits more of that like scientist type person. Meanwhile, Mark Ruffalo's more of that like he's that more like a person who's a much more person who does not want to do more of the stuff that he's a bit more of a scaredy cat and type stuff. So I'm think that he's a better version, but it doesn't mean it's a really good movie. But now we have Iron Man 2. I'll go good. I'll go top of meh. Top of meh. So it's my favorite in the meh category. So I think it's good. I have a lot of fun with it. I mean not a lot of fun with it, but I have fun with it. I think Whiplash is a horrible villain. Justin Hammer's also not a good villain at all. I think that its pacing's pretty bad. I'm being nicer to the film because I do realize that this one was one of the ones that was heavily hurt by the fact that they were mandating a 2-year sequel. 2 years until the sequel because they wanted to get to the Avengers fast. So Iron Man 2 only had 2 years, and Jon Favreau publicly said he wanted 3 years to get the film out. So he had to be rushed. So it feels very rushed. And it just feels like they don't know what they're doing. So there's certain points that are good. I think Rhodey's not very good in this because Tony's too unlikable. There's a scene where he pees his pants in his Iron Man suit, and Rhodey's not unlikable. Rhodey's unlikable. Tony's unlikable, and everyone's so unlikable because they're having to talk to the people that are unlikable. So it's okay. I can have fun with it. It's watchable. I find all the movies in the meh category except for I find all the movies in the meh category I can like watch, I guess. So it's good. It's okay. It's decent, I guess. So now we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I won't go great with it, but I will go top of good. And I have 2 words for you why it gets this high. Sylvester Stallone. That cameo, great. I love Stallone, and getting to see him in a Marvel movie. And we're going to be talking about Stallone again when it comes to Marvel. So, sorry. Hopefully, this will be the last one that I have to cut. There. Now, I believe I was talking about Guardians 2 and the cameo with Stallone, and I just love this movie, so it's definitely not probably great level, but I will go good, and the character arc for Yondu is a fantastic character arc, so that is the reason why he's elevated up to good. And now we have a complete opposite direction. We have Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Bad. And we're going behind Eternals, though. I won't say it's that bad. Ay. Hasta what are you watching? What alternate cut are you watching? Because this movie's slow, boring, dumb, long. It does not need. There's no way to justify runtime, and the worst thing you can do to an audience is bore them. This movie is trying to bore you. It is going out of its way to make you miserable with how boring it is. It is a movie that really it was dealt the worst hand by any of these films where the lead actor died, so they had to come up with a new story, and it shows because boy, this is not a good film. I did not like it. It is the example of woke and in the worst possible way. Shuri is not likable at all. She's just so awful in the role. I can't stand her. I think that she's so unlikable. So, Hasta, this is not top 5 by any means necessary. It's bottom 5 at best. So, I am happy putting it in bad. Next up, we have Spider-Man No Way Home in the complete polar opposite direction, I might add. We'll go at the back of Fantastic, because this is a fantastic movie. And I think that this is the movie that pulls off fan service and makes it work. Like, seriously, what is the argument of fan service against this film? I'm a fan. I want to be served. Give me more fan service. Give me more Toby and Andrew. It's just so touching, just the way that they all come together to help Tom Holland's Peter overcome what he had to go through, and it's fantastic. I think that if the first act of the film had been way better than than it was, if the first act had been just as good as the first half had been just as good as the second half, it could have been way better, and people would not have complained about it. People are just too mean to the film, and it backfired on them because most people consider this top tier MCU. So do I, because this is a great movie. Now we have in the complete polar opposite direction. Good Lord, we are going in that roller coaster. We have Thor: Love and Thunder. Bad. I will go behind Wakanda Forever because I at least give Love and Thunder the power of Chris Hemsworth. And Black Panther Wakanda Forever is so boring. So boring. And Love and Thunder, it's I have no idea how they managed to follow up Ragnarok, which is a great MCU film. And they follow up Ragnarok with Love and Thunder. Because one of my criticisms for Ragnarok was that they started after a while like kind of using the humor too much. This does that immediately. It already just makes Thor look like a joke. He is a complete laughable idiot. He is so idiotic, and seriously, he is so dumb, and they completely butcher the character. Seriously, man, why would you do this to one of the greatest Marvel heroes of all time? You should not have done that, and it puts a sour taste in your mouth as a fan of Thor. So, in the end, you have a film that's partially woke. Pretty much all of Phase 4 is woke completely, and you get a film that is woke. It just drags so much, especially with Gore the God Butcher not being able to butcher any gods, and them trying their hardest to make him look like a joke. So it's just a film I don't like. Now we have Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I think I'll go bad with this one too. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think I'll take it over Love and Thunder, I guess. Because I'm not a very big fan of Doctor Strange, so I at least will give this points for not completely making me be like, okay, wow, Thor now dropped several spots because of how they treat him in Love and Thunder. So, Doctor Strange 2, it's not a good film. It's a film that was disappointing. It does not deserve love. It is a film that is boring, long, it's woke, it's a film that does not know what it's trying to do. It does most things wrong. I think it is so long, it's too violent for a PG-13 film. I have no idea how this got itself a PG-13 rating. That scene with the Illuminati alone, especially what they do to Black Bolt, I cannot believe they got away with doing that in a PG-13 film. Because that was pretty brutal and gory. So, I just don't like the film. It's a film that is confusing. It's actively trying to sour you on the film. There's no way people made this film and were like trying to make it the best MCU film, because there's no way this is the best MCU film. It's not even in the top half. So I don't like this film. Now we have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I will go at the back of meh. There. I think that Jonathan Majors is what elevates it that high. So I think Jonathan Majors is a great Kang. He has a great performance as Kang, and I think he is what elevates the film. He carries this film. I think that Ant-Man is not funny in this. Neither Wasp is completely sidelined. And another reason why this film is so bad, Wasp's haircut. Ay ay ay. That is not a good haircut. So it's a film that it was just so disappointing when I watched it. It's just so disappointing. And I really wish it could have been better. So it really disappointed me the way that this turned out. And another reason, Louise is not in this. Louise was the best part about Ant-Man 1 and 2. You remove him, you may as well just... No wonder the film bombed. Because people found out Louise wasn't in it. Just sours me on the film, so that Louise wasn't in it. Yeah, so I thought this film was fine. Barely managed to get itself into the... I probably gave it a 2.5, I think, stars. It's more of a mixed negative, but I still would say I would go meh. So, and now in the complete opposite direction, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Fantastic. I'm going right behind Iron Man, though. Yeah, there. I think that one of the reasons this isn't fantastic is my getting to see this in theaters. I loved it when I saw it in theaters. It was not my favorite Guardians film. I prefer the original simply because spoilers if you have not seen it. But just the fact is, if you watch the film, you're expecting someone to bite the dust at any moment. There's a lot of ways they could have killed one of them off and made it a satisfying conclusion to their arc and character, and none of them die. So it kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth that we couldn't get a sacrifice, because it would have been so touching to get someone to sacrifice themselves. So I did not really enjoy that about it, but I loved seeing it in theaters. I think that the High Evolutionary is a great villain who really knows how to just make you hate that guy. You want to see him get hurt and die in the most painful way possible. And the way they rough up his face, what they have Rocket do to him, and then we see the aftermath later. That is rough to get into PG-13. That was gnarly. What he looks like, gnarly. So boy, but I have a lot of fun with this one. It's a film that you can tell it's funny, but it's also really sad. So the funny moments are really funny, but the sad moments are also really sad. So it's good at balancing the tone. Meanwhile, 2 kind of messed it up a bit where it was going too far. And Stallone's in this as well. And this is the first movie I've ever seen where he's in a movie. So I've actually seen Sylvester Stallone in a theater. Wow, my life is complete. So I just absolutely loved this movie. So I'm happy and fantastic. So thank you all for watching. That is my ranking, or basically just that is my tier list for the MCU tier list. Make sure to let me know your ranking of these films and where would you place these on their appropriate tiers in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a good one.